I was shocked. I was shocked that driver. Somebody has redesignated the driver and given them a job. They are earning more than the director of procurement. I asked them, what? I saw things I've never seen before.
Come on, it's happening.
Yes. Apart from technical staff, for example, medical staff, the rest have nothing to do. They're just there to earn salaries.
In a sharp tie, you walk into one salaries.
There's nothing. If you ask somebody, umetoka nyumbani, what have you come to do? Zero. Watu wanakufa kwa hospitali manasi hawalali.
Understaffing at the health centers.
Understaffed. But there are people here with the ties and there's nothing. No, even you ask,
with
when
big
you are hired, by the way, what was your job? He doesn't even know.
In under 2 weeks from today, Kenyans will usher in the third batch of devolved units of government. That's the devolved governments. This time round, will the devolved governments actually live to the expectations and herald a new beginning for the electorate who actually got it into power? That, of course, forms the basis of our conversation today here on Business Glide, the 71st edition, all thanks to you. A show that in the fullness of time, we hope it will definitely have a future, an impact on the future of Kenya's economy. I'm yours truly, Richard Mwenja, as always, and to debunk myths in such economic concerns and many others in there is the resident analyst, none other than the first of his name, a man who ages like fine wine, the first of his name, Herman Manyora.
Correct.
How are you doing today?
Oh, wonderful.
Correct, you're aging like fine wine.
Oh, you can see I'm a very young man.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's talk matters devolved governments. Of course, the third batch is coming into power in just under 2 weeks from today. We've seen a number of challenges actually coming into play. The writing is on the wall that the biggest enemy that should be slayed, the first one is actually nepotism at the county governments. We are seeing a new set of governors coming on board and all others under their wings. This time round, sir, the issue of you going to Trans Nzoia and you find 3/4 of the staff are from Luya community or Kikuyus in Murang'a county government, how can governors approach that giant this time round?
You know, it depends on how you want this question answered. We can answer it in a standard way with our bar as low as Kenyans like, with all the laziness.
Let's talk about merit. Will merit factor in the appointment this time?
No, I'm saying it depends on how you want us to answer. If we do things business as usual, merit will never come in. Because the new governor has his people to employ. There are people helping him to become governor, relatives, and so on. And he will just employ them, and it can't be on the basis of merit. That's what I'm saying. If we business as usual, nothing will change. They will overemploy. They will not necessarily follow merit. And you can bet they will just bring the counties down.
All right. When it comes to matters workplace diversity, and of course we are looking at people from any ethnic community being factored in on best of their merit this time round, we are seeing Governor Nok has been placed as the Council of Governors chairperson. We've seen Wambora. For the new dawn that's to come, perhaps what should be the biggest clarion call that the Council of Governors chairman should use to steer the debate that this time round workplace diversity must be followed by the actually other colleagues?
I don't know what they can do because you know it's not a forum. Council of Governors doesn't have such a serious legal, leave alone supervisory powers. It doesn't have. It's just a talk show for governors. So
can they use that to influence the others to change the opinion?
That was the thinking, and lobby and network. But they just engage in cheap things, and there's most of the time is spent on fighting government that is refusing to do what it should do.
All right.
Look at how much time is spent talking about share of revenue. All governors coming to Nairobi, camping here. Then at the end of the day, they are only fighting for 12 billion on top of the total shared revenue they are given. Those kind of things should be a thing of the past. They must have better ways of resolving issues through IBEC and other forums, the summit and so on and so forth, so that they don't spend time in Nairobi.
I see.
You know, they should come to Nairobi only once in a while. Although I know every governor stays in Nairobi.
Even that one in West Pokot and
All of them
Turkana.
stay in Nairobi. There's no governor who stays in their home.
All right, we'll get to that about absentee governors and deputy governors in within meantime. In the meantime, let's talk about issues to deal with eradication of poverty in our devolved units. When they came into power, we looked at these as a potential tool to harness its potential to actually lift people from the shackles of poverty in there. We are seeing poverty levels in Kilifi, they are alarming. In Asal counties, they are still alarming. But the problem might be because of our over-reliance in donor-funded programs. We are looking at a situation whereby for people to have help with regard to access to food or clean water, we are waiting for donors to come from abroad and so forth. This time round, how can we build self-reliance within our county governments?
You see, it's not easy. First of all, the money we get, the counties get from the national government or the shared revenue, it has from been around 370, now it's going to about 400 and something. It's not enough. Most counties get in the give or take 5 billion shillings on average. That's not money that can turn a county around. On source revenue, which is from collection of, they can't get enough because apart from Nairobi and perhaps Mombasa, they don't have people to tax. And they can't do it the way county councils used to do, with askaris chasing people for licenses and such. They can't do that way. The world has changed. The workers have the hawkers and others have their rights. And then now that is left, that leaves you with donor funding. It is the only source for development in counties, which again is a shame. So what is the way forward? I know it will not happen tomorrow, not the day after tomorrow, not even next month, but it has to happen. We have to bite the bullet as people and agree that the counties as currently constituted are not viable.
They aren't viable.
They are not viable.
But if we
need to have what was in the Bomas draft, which was between 8 and 14 regions, modeled along the provinces we used to have. We used to have 8 provinces. So the thinking was we could maintain those as regions, but we could also split big ones like Rift Valley, Eastern, Nyanza, so that you could give Kisii and Kuria. There was that kind of thinking. Ultimately, the maximum will be 14, minimum 8, and there were people settling on 12. If you had 12 regions, they will be economically and politically viable. They will be able to have revenue on their own because they are economically viable. And that way, working together with other regions where they share certain ecosystem, political, economic ecosystem, you know, then they would be even much more viable. And we'll be talking of a region being able to undertake poverty eradication programs.
But skeptics to argument on matters to do with self-reliance will say that perhaps it's because of low political will from the government themselves. We have seen some counties, such as Nyamira, they have the local soapstone carving industry. In Vihiga, we have seen a number of industries in there. We even have oil in some parts. In Boni Kalale's background, we are seeing in Koloman there is gold, but still we are seeing artisanal mining of such resources. Would you perhaps also buy that thought that probably it's because of low political will at the county devolved levels that these same governors don't want to exploit the resources at their hands? They're expecting money from the national treasury.
You know, even for mining, like in Kakamega and Vihiga, where I come from, are the deposits enough? Could it be a viable venture that they could bring a multinational company?
The
answer is most likely no. You know, so there are counties that are sitting on gold, where gold means resources. Huge counties like Narok, with the game reserves and the national parks, and and I'm praying that Taita Taveta should be made to benefit from the national park. Those ones have money. They are rich counties like Meru. So it's a question of harnessing the riches of the county to be able to improve the lives of people. And even after we have done that, there will still be counties that they can't do anything like Vihiga. They may do nothing really big to change the destiny of their people. They will still need to be guided and helped. But the ultimate solution, is to have viable entities like regions, not these counties. It can't.
In the case of these devolved governments actually building up self-reliance capacities in themselves, we are seeing them use the services of municipal askaris, of course, devolved kanjos, we can call them that way.
Yes.
But we're seeing a section of actually the hawkers or people on the streets, they're actually decrying. They're saying as much as they are trying to do their duty of oversight, they're actually overstepping their mandate by using unorthodox means of collecting the same licenses, fees, and so forth. This is an issue that's actually going beyond Nairobi or the major cities. For this time round, when it comes to building synergy between people who are to oversight, collection of revenue and all that, how best can they approach it so that there is some sort of mutual friendship or synergy between the two parties?
In 2017, I listened to Peter Kenneth talk about his idea for Nairobi. There's one thing I picked which I liked most. That the role of the governor or the county government, for, according to Peter Kenneth, was not to stand in the way of business, which is what licensing really and all these levies do. Instead, the role of the county government is to facilitate business. You see, if I was the president, for example, I would minimize any levies that people bring in, including taxes. Because if I'm in charge of KRA or if I'm the president, I will tell you, KRA, wacha keroche wakai. Don't even get a shilling from them. They have only 400 employees. They should give you 3,000 employees. Let's see how they can get 3,000 directly, or 2,000, or 1,000. 2,000 employees at Keroche is much better than the taxes you want from Keroche. So equally, county governments should go slow on unnecessary fees and levies
and all that.
Cheap things, chasing all women for 20 shillings. Facilitate them. Because if they are well facilitated and they are doing good business, money is circulating. When money circulates in a place, the economy grows. There's vibrancy. It is that stimulus. It is where we borrow from the concept of stimulus what?
Package.
Stimulus package. You can do things they are not even economically viable, like building markets, doing what? Fish ponds, like Kenya has done, build schools, have what we are calling centers of excellence. Every constituency has one school for boys and one for girls, one school, are they districts or school or constituencies? You are doing that so that money can circulate in the area as a stimulus. So I like the idea from Peter Kenneth in 2017. Be facilitative.
In as much as you are talking about boosting that business environment that is actually much needed more than ever before, don't you see that we first need to slay the giant that is, we are seeing slums in almost every municipal in our counties. It's not only in Nairobi. On the outskirts of Kitale, you meet a slum. We are looking towards achievement of the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals of access to clean water, clean environment, sanitation in there. Shouldn't we first work on that? Because we are looking at even hawkers, as much as they're paying these dues to the county governments, they're still operating at an environment that is not even welcoming. It's a hazard, actually.
It's a complex issue. You can only solve the issue of slums and all these hawkers through very elaborate planning. Our cities are not a product of planning. Even upcoming towns, even you look at Kitengela, why are we putting shops along the road? Supermarkets, so that you cause traffic jams. Even when our town is coming, we can't even use planning. So say, don't put a supermarket here, we shall not license it. Let it go away so that, most if you encounter traffic jams in Nairobi, on Ngong Road, it is because of Prestige, Junction Mall.
Adam Circuit.
Yeah, it will always be those malls and the shopping malls. So we don't do planning. We need to do planning. But there's also something else we need to deal with. Rural-urban migration. Projections have it that in the next, 30, 40 years, there's going to be serious urbanization. You see, so if we are going to have serious urbanization and we have turned the cities already into villages, you can imagine the kind of mess we are going to be in. So we need to mitigate unnecessary rural-urban migration. And that is how the devolved government was coming in. But then when you have small and viable counties instead of regions, we will not stem the rural-urban migration. And so long as everybody thinks when they come to Nairobi they will get a job, the slums will always be there. Because one of the reasons why people wouldn't want to travel to a town is there are alternatives where they are coming from. And it is difficult to go to the town because you won't even get where to sleep. The moment we allow this informal way of doing things, city cottons, we used to call city cottons, which has the bread now, all these slums, we were putting ourselves into problems. So you have to deal with this issue in a much more elaborate way at a national level. The thinking must come from the national level.
I see.
Yeah.
Very well, sir. We've seen Kenyans go to the polls and they elect new deputy governors and their governors and other set of leaders, senators and so forth. It is in the public domain. We've seen cases of deputy governors being absentees. Some go and stay abroad for months. Even senior executive at the public service board at the county levels. Someone walks into the office instead of staying from 8 to 5 as is required. He walks in at 10, signs off at 2 p.m., going to his home. It's not only at the top executive level, even those civil servants in the middle level. When it comes to assessing performance and productivity and make sure taxpayers get value for their money, with regards to slaying this giant, this Herculean task ahead of us, how best can a sitting governor ensure that any staff in his county government adheres to what is expected of him in terms of productivity and performance?
Apart from technical staff, for example, medical staff, the rest have nothing to do. They're just there to earn salaries.
In a sharp tie, you walk into one salaries.
There's nothing. If you ask somebody, umetoka nyumbani, what have you come to do? Zero. Watu wanakufa kwa hospitali manasi ya walali.
Understaffing at the health centers.
And understaffed. But there are people here with the ties and there's nothing. No, even you ask,
with
when
big
you are hired, by the way, what was your job? He doesn't even know.
Even the job description?
Yes, he doesn't have. And yet, there's shortage. We don't have community health workers.
Yes.
Because we are going to be more preventive than curative. We don't have extension workers.
Absolutely.
Our farmers are making blunders.
Even in
and
food
having
baskets.
very poor yields.
Yes.
And we could have extension workers. But governors have packed useless people in
the county headquarters.
Yeah, the county. They have nothing to do. So how can you tell somebody who has nothing to do by way of job description to do? What is it he will do?
Are you somewhat signaling that they may be dressed to go and loot? Someone dresses to go and loot?
If there's that's what they do. If there's money there, they steal. Otherwise, they just sit down. Lunch inafika, wanaenda wanakula kuku pale, wanarudi kwa ofisi 1 minute, they go away. There's nothing. That's why I was saying when you started, it depends on how serious you want to address this issue. In my thinking, what do we need a public service board for at a county level? What do they do? It's not even that. Even county assembly public service board, a poor country where people die of hunger and diarrhea.
Even Turkana has one.
What are you doing this? What does people do? So in my thinking, and in the future we'll have to look at this. If I was a minister in somebody's government in charge of devolution, I know I will be fought, but I will implement it. Even if I was just a part of government, I will ensure that government centralizes employment. We have the National Placement Bureau or National Employment Bureau. Nobody else employs across the public service, not even universities. That board will employ. Tell us what you need as a county. I, Governor of Viga County, we need 10 doctors of this caliber, nurses, how many?
For economists.
We need procurements, we need economists. We look at it. When that is approved, we now give you those people.
We have seen county governments.
We give you, don't recruit them. We give them to you. And we promote them, not you.
On merit.
On merit. That way, workers will feel appreciated. That way, you will not need to know anybody in this country to get a job or to get promotion. We must go there. Once we go in that direction, all these shenanigans we are talking about of people who are getting employed, deployed in the wrong places. I did a job for a county, training needs assessment, TNA. I was shocked. I was shocked at driver. Somebody has redesignated the driver and given them a job. They are earning more than the director of procurement. I asked them, what? I saw things I've never seen before.
Come on, it's happening.
Yes.
All right. With regards now to tapping and really fully exploiting matters with productivity, we've seen county governments, majority of them are disregarding the role of economists therein. We've seen our development partners come and say it is high time Kenya for every parastatal county governments every floor you go, whether it's a department of ministry, let there be an office of an economist. This is a person who is well versed with regards to how best you need to utilize your resources. Do you think now that's a new opening that we should tap into? Because you've been in Viga County government. Have you walked in a corridor and actually seen a name tag? Economist Richard Mwenja there in?
No. That's where we need to go. We need experts, not just economists. This country does not know the meaning of experts. When you look at the kind of, I've just talked, I was talking to somebody, I don't know who it was, about banditry and things of that nature. It is because you think you can approach that problem through police bullets. It's supposed to be a multidisciplinary approach to solving the problem. Experts from different disciplines come and bring to bear on the issue their training and knowledge and experience. So we need economists to guide us so that you can tell the governor, look here, that project you are putting in place, I know it's political, but surely it doesn't make sense at all. You could still do the same project, but in a different way so that it has some benefit to the community because of your training. So we need those kind of people.
I see.
Yeah.
The very last, we've seen people are excited when they get jobs in this country, in as much as a whole lot is still unemployed. But once they get into these jobs, especially at devolved level of governments with all nepotism in there and corruption, we are seeing mental health bolster as such a damaging challenge they are in. For this, still in the same breath, the issue of economists, don't you think it's high time we really, at county devolved levels, look at issues with stigma at the workplace, mental health, employ enough psychologists, at least in every, not just in the hospitals, but also in public offices?
You know, these lifestyles we are entering, including the country having moved from subsistence economy to a money economy. The pressure of modern life, the pressure of modern living, the pressure of work, we have not appreciated the magnitude. And even idleness, being employed somewhere and there's nothing you are doing. All these conspire to have a direct confrontation with our mental health. And therefore, first of all, we must look at the things that are likely to cause mental health challenges. Okay? And secondly, we must seek interventions. So that I'm looking at government taking this issue much more seriously than they are taking it. Including places like the police. They are traumatized. Some of the things the police do. You have a Land Rover, you go to pick a dead body, throw it in the Land Rover, and the police are seated there and they're human beings. You can imagine the trauma. You get it?
I get it.
We need to move in the direction of knowing that a human being is a psychological bundle. And to injure this bundle is very easy to break it. And therefore we must go out of our way to ensure that situations that cause stress and other mental health challenges are minimized in our workplace. And in one way of doing this, so that we are more preventive than curative, is to have experts like psychologists and psychiatrists around us all the time. And appreciate that when it does happen, it can happen to all of us. We do not stigmatize these people. We help them. I have a case of a police officer who had mental health challenges. He went to Mathare. He was pronounced fit by the experts. When he came back, they had sacked him. Dismissal. They didn't even care. When he produced all the papers, they have been doing this to him now a number of years. I personally have gone up to the police headquarters to try to tell them, you can't do this. The president can't be talking about mental health. And a young man like this. Now, even that thing will come back.
You can even join Al-Shabaab or these terrorists.
Yeah, those are the people who now become bad. When you hear people have done strange things. You see, you can take him and give him a job as you observe him. Safe areas. Yeah. Or at the very worst, you can give him some dues and then he goes home. So it's a case I personally have been handling for the past 2 years. So let's prevent these things happening. Let's have experts. And when they happen, let's not punish people for being sick.
Make sure there's seamless transition.
When somebody is sick, you don't punish them. You help them. If a police officer has mental challenges, you don't just throw him home. You navigate, even if he must transit into civilian life. You know? You can even take these people, they work for these local police stations and the chief stations. There they can work where people know them. They just go in the morning to a chief's office if he has recovered sufficiently. Like the case I'm talking about, a guy who has recovered. The letters from the doctors. I tried to get even the GSU where he was working to forward the appeal letters. I was taken right around in circles.
Mental health.
Mental health is a challenge. Ultimately, when we don't take care of the sick, they come to haunt us.
In the fullness of time.
My worker sometimes back, just to finish, he was going about his business. Franco, he was my watchman, or my guard, whatever. He just came across without knowing a guy had a metal bar. Pap! I really walked with that guy to be treated. He hit several people because he was not in control of his mental faculties. So when you think you are leaving somebody because he's not your child, because he's not in your class, you don't know what he can do when he meets you in the streets of Nairobi.
I see.
Because he's sick. So let's take care of our sick, especially those of mental challenges. Because they are ours and they are sick, we don't punish them.
On 9th of August, a section of Kenyan contractors, those from Mandera, Vihiga or Tana River, are going to vote in their next governor. But they are afraid of doing business with the next crop of devolved units. The issue of pending bills has been such a nightmare for them, and actually a swift conduit for bribery and all that and kickbacks therein. For those innocent professional contractors who are afraid, this time round, what can the governors do?
We must change. I've been part of a county government, I know. We must change the way we do business. One, even these people who are saying pending bills, most of them, there's nothing they have done. I said this on TV and somebody called me and another one looked for me.
Supply of air.
He told me, Manyora, do you know people are committing suicide because of pending bills? I said, I know that.
They've taken
Do you
loans.
know people have been auctioned? I said, I know that. But despite knowing that, I also know there are many people from those billions of pending bills who did nothing, supplied nothing, constructed nothing. So we must begin by saying, okay, let's pay what we can pay, those who have. But going forward, let's have a clear way of assessing what we need and who can do it, at how much, and let people not give people jobs when there is no money.
Right.
If you are a governor, please, the moment you give somebody, when you are signing a contract, the money must be there. Watch a wongo if miss. No, it's not bad. Because somebody borrows. Somebody borrows. Somebody commits themselves somewhere.
A company that
and then 3 years down, you have not paid them. You bankrupt them. They make enemies. Somebody can even be beaten.
And in exchange, the company that has been paid is one which has never undertaken such a duty in the history.
So you need to streamline. Once you streamline, then we must ensure we only undertake those projects for which there is money.
And when
in the treasury already. You have it.
I see.
Yes.
Well, that point by Herman Manyora takes us the wrap of this conversation today on Business Glide, talking matters to do with the next, or I should say the third batch of devolved units of government that are going to come in under 14 days from today. We hope that this time round they'll address the issues of the electorate therein, of course, poverty levels being the most nightmare that many Kenyans are facing, and they expect their governors to address it with utmost emergency, or I should say urgency, today, if not yesterday. Our fan of the week is none other than Sammy Kuria, a Kenyan working at the State Department for Urban Population and Development. Sammy
Kuria, thank you very much. Thank you very much for being part of us. We really are happy.
All right.
And on that note, I must also ask our viewers, please help us to reach that 100,000 subscriber mark. How many more?
4,000 only.
Please help us. We want to get that button.
Silver button.
That button, silver button. It's not money. Some people think it's money. No. We just want to be proud that and happy that what we have been doing at least is being recognized.
Into fruition.
Yeah.
All right. Well, make sure you subscribe before you actually wind up with the Business Glide African Proverb of the Day. Once you're done getting into it, make sure you subscribe before you leave the channel. Of course, more coverage coming from Simon Irungu, Jadiel Kabiro, Evans Okinyi, and Rakim Kimtai. So make sure you tune into this channel that gives you the most comprehensive analysis of economic affairs and political coverage with regards to the run-up to this year's general elections. Until next time, my name is Richard Mwenjo. See you.